We'll call to order the Banner County Board of Equalization, June 17th at 8:32. Roll call, please.
Don?
Present.
Robin?
Here.
Leif?
Present.
Item 3, Nebraska Open Meetings Act. A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is posted in the back of the courtroom by the entrance. Item 4, consent agenda items.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda items. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Don?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Leif?
Yes.
Item 5, items of business before the board. 3-year plan of assessment. Casey.
I just have to present this to you guys before June 15th of each year.
Thanks for the email.
That's it. Quick and easy.
Awesome. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the plan of assessment from the assessor.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the 3-year plan of assessment from the assessor. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Don?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Leif?
Yes.
Item 6, public comments. The Banner County Board of Equalization will receive public comments on items discussed at this meeting or suggestions for items of discussion at a future Banner County Board of Equalization meeting. The board will not act and/or respond to comments presented on the state. You will have 3 minutes after stating your name and address for the public record. Do we have any public comments? Having no public comments, we will adjourn the Banner County Board of Equalization at 8:34.
They will clean up meals because we're about to sleep like an hour and a half. Wide awake. Like a zombie. I'm just tired too, so I'm together with me. You have one brain, two.
Your weight on.
Nope.
That's it. Okay.
Katie, is it possible to get the current expenditure report through these claims so we kind of know exactly where, so we match you for the budget?
My report I can only do once a month. I emailed you the last one.
Right.
No, because the only way it generates is if I close a month out. And once I close out the month, I can't go back and reopen it.
So we have to manually take these, take them out of the account, see what percentage we have left?
Right.
Okay. I just kind of need to know, or we kind of need to know exactly where we're at, before this last meeting in June, so.
Yeah, and we're balanced 100%. There's a 7 cents difference in the general. That's the only thing that wrong is 7 cents. And we found it. And I made the correction, but that won't show until I close out
It was
June.
completely white, so we lost some.
Sounds good, we can do that.
Didn't sound like there was much of a pretty much Matt's house.
So I'll input these claims from today
Okay.
into that budget spreadsheet and then I'll email it to you guys. Does that work? And that'll give us kind of exactly where we're at before we hit that last June meeting. Kathy, we didn't have to transfer anything for that FEMA money, right? We don't have to have a resolution to transfer that anywhere.
No, because it was just covering already
spending expenses,
Okay.
in my language.
We just couldn't spend over a certain number of that, right? We were good there.
Yeah, we were, what was it? Oh, they gave us more money, that's what it was,
Yeah.
at the end than what they started, but then they came back in and reworked some of the stuff and came up with that extra. Or, because what they do is FEMA pays some and NEMA pays some. Now, I may have only had the FEMA amount at the time, and then NEMA came in with an additional 10,000, and that might be what it was. I just don't have that knowledge exactly from back when we first did it.
Okay.
So it's probably what it was, the
We just can't
FEMA.
spend that, right?
Yep.
We don't need to move it anywhere or anything before the end of June.
No, I called and checked
Perfect.
to see what, they said that they're just repaying us for what we've already expended, so it's not the same as having to do like with the other money from ARPA. That was money that we didn't have, they just gave us money. So,
Okay.
yes.
I won't worry about that
Yeah.
part then.
As far as from what they told me, so,
Sounds good. Thanks for checking that out.
yeah. Did you get any rain, Katie, at your way? Hail? Did you,
We're flooded.
are you flooded?
I mean, it's not a bad thing, but hail is that deep. I didn't even go look at my garden this morning
Oh, no,
because I'm pretty sure there is nothing.
it'll be okay.
If you guys have any, I might email you guys, but
I hope so, but I don't, because the flowers down at the
See
house
something
were,
that's awry or wrong.
they were
Sure.
pretty hard.
Yeah,
They were trying, so, and I was up against the house,
Oh,
so,
oh. My flowers survived, but they were up against the house too.
yeah, there's wheat fields that are gone.
We're confident.
That's what Dawn said, that wheat fields were
Brian
shredded.
Huffman's fields are,
Kind of
and
keep
they're
get that.
beautiful wheat fields.
We didn't get that hail, but thank God.
And we matched Katie.
Yeah, it wasn't very big, it was only pea to marble size, but it,
A lot.
I was up for an hour and a half last night, and I went the whole time.
Me too. Okay, so now we're only gonna have 1/4 of a brain, so you're a quarter brain, I'm a quarter brain. Casey, and then
Jared's like, Jared goes, just go to sleep. I'm awake. I can't now.
Something about hearing hail hit your house.
Yeah, it sounded like, you know, we got those big windows in front. It almost sounded like one of those were gonna break. That's how hard it was hitting. So I
Gee.
kept going out there and looking, and I'm like, they're still intact. And I'd go to bed, and then I'd get up, and I'm like, they're still intact.
I was didn't even really get up and work. I kept telling myself, if I get up, I'm gonna be awake. Well, I was already awake, I never got up.
That's where I was, so I would have closed the windows and everything, and then kept looking. I'm like, it sounds like hail, let's see how big it is. And then I was like, oh, it's just pea size, that's okay. And then I was like, oh, it should be ending pretty soon.
Nope.
Yep, it should be ending pretty.
Yeah. We didn't even have leaves on the ground for the trees.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's a good sign.
I have a pretty nice maple tree, and it's, their leaves are
Yeah.
all over. The little bunnies were having fun, they were playing in those leaves. They were having a good time this morning.
Oh, man.
I apologize.
I was laughing.
I don't know how I did that.
They were
but I'm
bouncing
like
around
listening
and
to
running
you.
back and
I had
forth,
to keep
and I'm like,
rewinding because I'm like,
well, at least somebody's
forget
getting some
words.
enjoyment out of it.
I'm surprised they're still alive up there. Still with your house, with your puppies.
It's a game. They play tag a lot, I think. Run underneath the trees, and then they wait for the dogs to leave, and then they come out.
Oh,
And the
okay.
dogs come and play with them, and that's a game.
Oh, 'cause I don't have a single rabbit. They're all gone, all the coyotes.
We have two skirts. We'll go through, like, we're a whole bunch of them, and then none, and then we'll get a whole bunch again, and then none. So it's just always hurry up and wait.
Listening to the
Yes,
pager.
exactly.
We have less than what we had when we bought the place, though.
Yeah.
Because they would eat the hoses and like
It was all north.
all
We
of
had
the
like an
garden
inch
stuff,
6
they would
and
just
pivots.
demolish it.
Oh,
We had
So
one cut
there
hand,
is a lot less than before.
but we had one.
you have any coyotes over there? You hear any coyotes?
Actually, the other day, we were sorting cows and one ran right in front of us. Like,
Oh,
maybe 50 yards from us,
No, it's June.
running by. And I'm
they're
like,
healthy, aren't they?
We got 2 weeks of
this is
this.
a big dog, and he was thick.
True that.
Yeah,
He was eating good.
they're, I don't know, they were so
This
big.
is normal.
There was one that was so big that I wasn't sure what I was seeing.
Nothing else.
Well, that's what Austin kicked it up with the four-wheeler, and he said that dog just jumped out in front of
And I
him.
think they're gonna be
And
okay.
he goes, Mom, I didn't know if it was an actual dog or what it was. He goes, at first he thought it was a lion because I mean, he was big and he was really blonde.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I
then he
was
goes,
smart.
I got looking at him a little bit closer. He goes,
Sometimes you
"He's a
wonder.
big dog," and I'm like, yeah. He would have made a pretty pelt. You know, it was very
Maybe
healthy.
you guys can get them.
Yeah, it was just like, he wasn't even that scared. I was like,
They just are having a healthy year, no
Yeah.
mange. I'm glad there's no mange though.
yeah, me too.
I
That's
hate
gross.
that. Are those fairy dogs
That should be.
that I'm seeing up here? Up by Highway 71 on the east
Yeah,
side?
I wanna say they are, but I don't really know. We have them moving, we've had a couple of what they call scouts come onto it, like.
Yeah,
over
we
by
did
a bar.
too.
And we've gotten rid of them, but they're trying to move.
Let's do
I'm
it.
hoping with this moisture, maybe they'll back off a bit.
I didn't know they did that. George Van Pelt told me, because there was one out on his pasture, and when I was talking to him, I said, yeah, there was a prairie dog. Oh, he says, I'm coming out, where is it at? I said, don't worry, it's gone. They shot it. But I said, what was he doing? There's no prairie dogs. He says, they sent scouts out.
Yep,
But how do they get the word back?
they go back.
Then they go back and tell them, they'll follow me, and then they all come and.
Yeah, we've had like 4 of them on our place, and we've shot every one, well, that we
If I
know,
was in the game, that's.
you know, we shot every one of
At
them.
least a percentage.
That's good.
Because you get
I don't want any.
Those
They're
are
bad.
disgusting.
$300,000 tractor.
I'll eat
When yours
all
probably
your pasture. And you should see George's pasture
You're
now.
happy to take you.
Not as
They're
nice.
happy.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
Is it? That's good.
It's the best I've ever seen
At
in
least,
a
at
long
least we
time.
have machines that
It's
put
good.
water.
I always was an envy of his pastures. They always were in good shape. The fences were
I got
nice.
2 of them that
It
get.
is amazing.
I'm glad that guy's
off the calls. And then Dave Wolf, I talked to him yesterday, he goes, I don't want any rain. He says, I just got my hay down.
I know.
Ah, thanks, Dave. Thanks for the
Every
rain.
2 years when I see
Yeah, that's when it happens.
He's the one that caught it.
I wish I could get one.
That's Hollywood.
Pickles. I don't like getting spilled.
Oh. Sorry. They can hear us on the website talking.
Sorry. It's gone.
It's 8:45, are you guys good to go?
It's just not, we planted trees here 3 weeks ago, I think, and it was dry, and it's just full of water.
Okay, we'll call to order the Banner County Board of Commissioners, June 17th at 8:45 a.m. Roll call, please.
Don?
Yes, I'm here.
Robin?
Here.
Leif?
Present.
Item 3, Nebraska Open Meetings Act. Copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is posted in the back of the courtroom by the entrance. Would one of you lead us in prayer?
Father, we just ask for your wisdom today as we do the business of people of Banner County. Help us, guide us, give us the knowledge that we need to conduct. Father, we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
And the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 6, approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Don?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Leif?
Yes.
Item 7, approval of the minutes from June 3rd, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of June 3rd, 2025. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Don,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Item 8, correspondence, road broom manufacturing. Is this something we're considering? You guys know? Just
aware of it.
information that Katie got?
They're really cool.
it just showed up in the mail. I mean, I gave a copy to Eric, I set it on his desk, and I didn't know if you guys needed to see it or not, so.
Perfect, thank you. You guys have anything on that?
Nope.
USD natural disaster areas, the drought. I sent this to Katie, I wasn't sure she had it. Governor Pillen designated counties in Nebraska as drought, and the USDA has loan opportunities for Banner County people to help with the drought. Just wanted everyone in the public to be aware that that's out there for them if they need it.
Thank you for sharing that.
You guys have anything more on that? Discussion. Item 9, public comments. The Banner County Board of Commissioners will receive public comments on items discussed at this meeting or suggestions for items of discussion at a future Banner County Board of Commissioners meeting. The board will not act and/or respond on comments presented on this date. Please keep comments limited to 3 minutes. Do we have any public comments? Being no public comments, we'll move on to reports. Highway Department, Eric. Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Do you have a report today?
Jason's not here. We did have I don't know if you guys have seen it, but we had an agreement with the road shear project. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet or not. I think you guys have to sign
Laramie
it.
County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only really report that I have. Other than that, we're moving forward with all of the new programs and stuff we're doing here to make things better.
Very good.
Okay?
Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Commissioners, Don?
Okay, we had a PAD meeting the other day, and they're looking at doing some work for the 6 regions, 1 Nebraska, and that's probably the highlight of the day. That would involve doing a housing study, helping do housing study, and just working with 6 regions, 1 Nebraska, which is Governor Pillen's program to try and address some of the needs for housing, workforce development, childcare, economic development that we've been part of. So, Office of Human Development, that's just kind of standard business. They function well. PPHD, I see we have some flyers about mosquitoes. I know that they're dealing with some measles issues in the Panhandle. We do have some cases. Don't know that that's going to be a problem. Most people are vaccinated. Always encourage people to get vaccinated, vaccinate their kids. That's up to them. Buildings and grounds, I think the big deal is we're going to talk about the fire safety system. We can do that when we get to that agenda item. So, one of the questions I've had sort of in passing is the NRD has considered if we would be interested in letting us take care of the water system in Banner County. That's not a have to or anything like that. It's just, it's not their bailiwick to send a guy out of here once a week or twice a week, whatever's required. It's our water system that serves our people. So if that's something in the future we'd be interested in, we'd need to have some discussions with the NRD.
This was brought up a year ago, and they're doing a good job, and as long as they're willing to do it, we don't need the extra responsibility, would be my opinion.
And I understand that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks, Don. Online Region 22, we meet June 23rd. That's mostly to finalize our budget for emergency management. Banner County's budget, it's looking good. Kathy and Katie they continually give us numbers at this point to keep that up. I'll update our spreadsheets and get those out to Leif and Don and let you guys look at those
Thank you.
and see if you see anything that's not quite right. The last meeting of this month, just for public information, will be just to approve claims for, before our fiscal year ends. There's certain claims we have to get into this past year. That will be that meeting, will only be claims. Special meeting. Nothing on the website. Leif?
Okay, Office of Aging in Region 1, they did have meetings last Thursday. I missed both meetings. And I never called for an alternate, so that's my bad onto that. I just didn't get it put together. Last week was nuts for me, so. That's my report.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Item 11, items of business before the board. Substandard condition of County Road 14 East, Sheila Knoll. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Sheila Newell, S-H-E-I-L-A, Newell, N-E-W-E-L-L. On May 20th, I stated during the public comments that County Road 14 East was worse than County Road 14 West. I understand upon accepting the road superintendent position, Eric, that you probably assumed certain responsibilities of your department were getting done in the most competent and cost-efficient manner. There is an anticipation of respect, trustworthiness, and dedication. I actually expected that County Road 14 East would be maintained the last week in May, since it rained and the road soaked up all the moisture by the 28th. There was a road grader on County Road 57 on the 28th. He graded between the auto gates south of the East Shop and came back to Wright's Gap. I used County Road 14 East every day from May 28th through June 4th. If you would like to take one and pass it down, here are the pictures that I took on June 11th. I started at County Road 14 and 61 and went west to Highway 71. Since this road has not been maintained for over 2 months, it is difficult to determine all the causes of this deterioration. No grader has been out until this past Friday, which happens to be the 13th. Since I requested to be on the agenda Thursday, I guess someone took it upon themselves to get it graded before the meeting. Unfortunately, the road is in worse condition than it was.
That's it.
And here are the photos that I took on the 14th. Again, the road surface has deteriorated even more due to the lack of a good crown, an employee's poor use of the grader, the mold board, pitch or tilt, and the lack of moisture in any top surface. Fortunately, the road grader, J. Dove, only destroyed the road conditions to County Road 51. As you can see on the first page, the condition is not better, and from the edge of the road, one can see that the motor grader was going too fast. This is clear on the pictures on page 3. Page 4 shows a blowout revealing very fine particles. I would have liked to say dust. The top surface and the subsurface are now gone. Common sense and adequate management practices was not considered before destroying the road. I would have accepted Eric or any commissioner saying, Sheila, as soon as we get moisture, we will have 2 graders to repair County Road 14 East. Or, Sheila, after inspecting the condition of the road, I need to arrange for a water truck and repair the road in segments. That did not happen. According to the state's functional classification, County Road 14 is a major arterial and is the only county road in this county that goes from the Wyoming line to the Cheyenne County. The only one. This major arterial is defined as roadways linking cities, towns, and other traffic generators that are capable of carrying long-distance travel and form a network with higher systems provide interstate and inter-county service. The Nebraska Department of Roads has a roadway design manual. County road plans are to improve the reliability of the transportation system, maintain the mobility of the user, and to mitigate operational and safety issues. In addition, County Road 14 East serves as the primary gravel road for Warren Air Force Base. There are 5 launch facilities located on this route. Air Force funding is provided for the maintenance of these primary routes. I drove County Road 7 from County Road 14 north to County Road 18 into town yesterday. There is 1 missile alert facility and 1 launch facility. Those 15 miles of gravel road were in good condition. One has to ask, what does the west end of the county have that County Road 14 does not? In addition, I came to the courthouse yesterday for a public records request. I requested the vehicle operator reports for the road department employees for the past year. I was told there was none. This is required by the Nebraska Records Management Act. You can find it for the road department, which is Schedule 17. This report is for all vehicle operators that provide their daily activities. Since I did not have that, I requested the payroll claims. Their timesheets provide some information on their activity. However, it is substandard. Let's go back to my public comments on May 20th. I stated that I had a speed bump at the Autogate entrance to my property. Apparently, J. Dove's timesheet stated that it took him an hour and a half to inspect my issue. I would have considered it a concern, not an issue. Please note that I have already moved most of the dirt so I could get to the property. So it should not have taken him an hour and a half to inspect my Autogate issue. From reviewing the timesheets the last time County Road 14 East was maintained was April 7th. I have copies of several timesheets for your review. It should also be noted that hours have been changed. On one timesheet, there is a 7. It was written over with an 8. This is unacceptable and needs to be addressed immediately. I have highlighted it for your convenience. Finally, in over a year, in accordance with State Statute 39-1504, you as the county board failed to assume and perform the powers and duties of the county highway superintendent. These general duties are governed by Statute 39-1501 through 1511. In addition, in accordance with State Statute 39-2101, identification of roads according to the function permit the establishment of uniform standards of design, construction, operation, and maintenance for each classification of road. Such standards promote the general safety of the traveling public, enhance the free flow of the traffic, and provide improved utilization of highway financing. In fiscal year 23-24, Banner County received $515,949.33 in highway allocation. The maintenance of all county roads, including County Road 14 East, needs to be allocated from this highway fund. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
I guess really my only question was, Sheila, did you contact our superintendent regarding this and provide him this information?
No.
Did you contact any of the other commissioners as well? I know you didn't contact me.
I believe in my May 20th public comment section, it said it needed to be addressed immediately. What else do I need to do?
Kind of the chain of command is to contact our superintendent because
I understand that.
Because he
But
oversees all of that. If our superintendent doesn't resolve the issue, then it falls into our lap.
And apparently, the blowout that was on the 14th, I drove it this morning, it is still there. Did you happen to drive it, Eric? Did you drive it this morning? Did you drive it this weekend?
I don't think you need to yell. You don't need to yell. He's right there. Be nice,
Did you drive it this
friendly.
weekend?
No.
So there is no evidence of him seeing the,
Just to, is it all right if I stand next to you?
sure,
Is it okay if we hear from Eric a
Yes.
little bit, Sheila?
So, as a superintendent, right, we handle all road conditions, correct? I understand that. But when I have a foreman who goes out, which you have record of, going to look at your road, correct? And then I get a response, and then I drive it, and I feel that there's no damage to be, what's the word? Can I see the paperwork? Damage prior to Friday, correct? I drove it on, we had a rainstorm. I'll have to look at my notes what day I drove it. There was issues of water going over the road that could have caused maybe a possible blowout and or issues. So we are already working on getting different equipment to be able to handle some of the issues that we were having. And to answer, I will look at my notes, but I have driven multiple roads, multiple nights to look for issues that we need to discuss in our county of how our operators are doing things, if they're doing them right. Mostly they're doing them right, but there are some issues that we need to address. And I can't answer on this on Friday. I was out of town. So for me to, when I send a foreman or interim foreman, technically is what he is, to a complaint, you know, that you have or an issue that you have, and then I send him to take care of what he's supposed to do, I believe that is adequate. Now, I cannot inspect something that I'm not here to inspect.
okay. Does anyone here have a copy of the Warren Air Force Base map?
I'm pretty positive it's in the office.
Okay.
And the issue, the day that I drove by your place, after you came in, what day was it? On the 20th of last month, right? What
Yes.
day? Yeah. I drove by there. Unfortunately, there was about an inch of rain that was on the ground, right?
No.
Give or take. When I drove that road, it was raining the day I drove it, because I was telling Robin, I made it down to the culverts, down at the end of the hill, and I thought I made a grievous mistake, because I almost didn't come back out of that.
Yes, because you were trespassing going past the auto gate, because it's not a county
No, ma'am,
maintained
not
road.
not on your property.
Oh, you went to the first auto gate? That's a minimum maintenance, that's not road.
So you learn very quickly on what road you can not, you shouldn't be on when it's raining. I understand it, but I'm just letting you know that I am out there doing my job, driving roads to handle it. In the blowout, we have to haul most likely material on it. Right now, we do not have a truck right now that can haul it, because our two lowboys, or belly dumps, are being maintained at this time. So I don't want to come up here and say that we have a bunch of excuses why we didn't handle it, but we are handling it. And just so Jay and I were both in Valentine all week last week. Jay and I discussed your road multiple times while we were there. I did not know that you are on the agenda and complained before I've already scheduled Jay to be on 14. So that part there,
Okay.
you have to take my word for the truth, because I did not know you
I
called
will,
until after
yes.
Jay was already gone, and we already had your road scheduled to be maintained.
But maintaining it, we need to repair it.
Well, and that's
And
also,
you
we have to
said
be careful
gravel,
because it's
and
not
I
on the 1 and
understand.
6. So since it hasn't been on the 1 and 6 and it's late in the year, I'm not sure how much budget we have. So yes, we will address and look at that to be on the 1 and 6.
Consider putting it on for this coming fiscal year.
So that is something that I will bring to these guys. They will say yes or no on what year we get that done, right? It's next year, year after. We will address the situation, okay? And I would just appreciate it in communication between you and I, that if you do have a situation, I'm pretty sure if you call Chelsea, she will give you my cell phone, which I would be more than happy to answer your phone calls about 20 hours of the day.
Okay, I didn't know if that was public record, public information.
It's a superintendent phone,
Okay,
okay? I know,
but
I just
will
want to make
give
sure
you-
that,
I will accept the fact that you are going to, now that you are the road superintendent, and understand that there are many issues that have not been addressed in the past. I will give you some time.
okay? I've been here
Not a whole hell of
just
a
a little
lot,
bit over
but
a
some.
month. So, we have some work to do. I am not saying that we don't. Every county needs work, right? But we need to maintain our roads in a safe manner. I believe that we're doing it in a lot of areas, but there may be a different rotation that we need to do to make sure that our higher travel roads get taken care of.
This is a
in
high
sooner
travel
manner.
road, and it's one of the highest classification, if you would check your road classifications.
Which I do. I have a map. I look at it every day.
No, I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to the commissioner.
Okay, are you good
I'm
with
good.
me?
I have a question.
Yes.
So what is the scheduled maintenance on Route 14? Is it weekly or bi-monthly or monthly?
Okay, right now, I can't answer that,
Okay.
because the gentleman who was on that road, right, just with my due diligence of looking, he has been part-time, now he's farming, so now we have to move somebody else over there. We lost an employee just here recently, all within the time frame. So
Just
we have
so
to,
you know,
Mhm.
Kimball County has road superintendent, it has 3 foremans, one for the Dix, one for Kimball, one for Bushnell.
Mhm.
They get on the road grader every day.
Yep. So, I think Jay is, well, I can't say because I have to go back through last week's timesheets. So unfair to me, you got timesheets that I did not get to look at today. I've signed off on them, yes, the work they've been doing. But to know exactly when Road 14, we already have a program that's coming in. Don's seen the map that we're going to implement into our county, that we will know where, and I know we have the tracking devices, I get that. But we will have it set up for a map that we're not post-dating it, we're not going back, we're gonna start new forward. That way there, when you come in, you can walk into Chelsea's office and you will see where our motor graders have been without going through the program of the tracking. Because some of those trackers,
Yeah, that needs to be done in accordance with records management.
so I can't produce what they did,
That's not
what
there.
has not been done.
I get it.
And there is stuff in the files, I'd have to look through, because I found from last year what they have been doing. But is it, we just, and I'm not gonna post date anything, so, because I don't know what they've done.
I
That
get
makes
it.
sense. So,
'Cause it's not
moving
there.
forward, there'll be
It's
a
not
better, moving forward, there'll be a better, system of what everything's happening,
Okay,
okay?
What I
Thank
can
you.
tell you is I drove the road this morning. It's hard as a rock.
Okay,
It's in good shape.
excuse me.
There's a few little washouts and there's some at the side.
well, I
Is this the
I drove
blowout?
it this morning and the blowout is still there.
This is the
Baby's
blowout.
got it.
No.
The flag.
No, that was just there for no reason
Which
whatsoever.
picture's the blowout?
The blowout is still there. Time will tell.
It's the one with the tape measure down.
Pardon me?
I said, I'm pretty sure it's the one with the tape.
It's the one with the tape. Yes, it is, Mark. Thank you.
So since the 20th, I've drove that road twice, all the way through.
Did you drive it on after the 13th, this past Friday?
I have not, I drove it on Thursday, was the last time I drove it.
Okay.
So I've drove it now twice since then.
Major difference between that and County Road 18, where there's,
You know, I didn't
And-
find the road in that grievous of condition, to be honest. It seemed like a normal spring road to me.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila.
I'd like to comment on Kimball County is bigger and more intense than Banner. When we hired
Kimball
Mr.
has
McCoy-
over
Can I finish?
900
When Mr.
miles.
McCoy was hired as our road superintendent, yes, he can drive a maintainer, yes, he knows how to do that. His job, which I think you're expecting us to do, is to have Mr. McCoy organize these schedules for maintenance to a lot of paperwork this man has in front of him, driving the roads and all of that. So hopefully you will see him randomly in a maintainer in the future, but it should be random.
I don't expect the highway superintendent in a road grader. Ben does not get on a road grader in Kimball County unless he absolutely has to. But Kimball County has 925 miles of county road. You have 425, substantially less
And less people.
by a few.
And I guess I'm going to encourage you that we're going to get on track with Mr. McCoy. He's working in that direction. It's just gonna take him a little while to address all these issues, but I would recommend in the future, call Eric and visit with him.
So the moral of the story is, probably, you should have hired a road superintendent a whole long time ago, because it was not getting done.
Yes, ma'am?
Thank you.
You good with that? Employee health insurance, Nick, please. Hey, Nick, how are you?
Great, how are you guys?
Good.
Good.
I think you guys all got the actual proposals, but I've run along. I think why don't you do first, Nick, maybe? Just so that we can look at that for this part of the discussion. To start out with, I'd like to address challenges that we've had over the last year. As you guys are aware, we've had a few challenges with Blackhawk as far as administration goes. And it's largely customer service issues that have just been a constant thorn in our side. A lot of them we've gotten addressed, not as quickly as I think that they should have been. But there are a few still out there lingering that we're continuing to follow up on and make sure that we get those addressed for employees. This last year was a pretty rough year. We had a really high claims total throughout the year, a lot of things going on, which on one hand, that's why we provide insurance for our employees, is to make sure that it's there for them when they need it. But the other side of that is that, need to be grateful. Our increase with Blackhawk this year is going to be at 4.7%. Now, with that being said, it's my recommendation that we strongly consider some of the other opportunities that I've brought in front of you guys. For the main reason being is just the customer service. I think it's something that your employees should expect when they have an issue, that it gets resolved very quickly. They've been great about getting a hold of me when an issue does happen. Unfortunately, I've been a little bit handcuffed just getting information back on what we need to do to address the situation. So with that being said, Blackhawk at 4.7%, that's about $11,000 increase for the 25-26 plan year. It is a viable solution going forward. It is probably the easiest solution going forward because it's as simple as renewing the policy and transitioning into the new plan year. The benefits would stay exactly the same network, everything else. We did have a couple of other opportunities that came to the table. One of them is Blue Cross Blue Shield through their Chamber Association plan. Probably one of the biggest benefits to this is it would actually be a slight decrease from 24-25 plan year of 1.1%, which is an annualized savings of about $2,700. One of the biggest benefits I see to this is that there has been a request to move back to Blue Cross Blue Shield as an administrator. Through NACO, I don't think that that's an opportunity, but through the association plan set up through the chamber, that could be a viable solution going forward. The biggest drawback to that move is I have lobbied Blue Cross Blue Shield until I was blue in the face about getting a plan year deductible. They have absolutely said we will not do it. I requested that they would provide us a deductible credit. They will not take an accumulator. So when the deductible starts over in July, it will be forced onto a calendar year going forward. And without that accumulation, we run into the problem of between July 1st and December 31st, being able to, people accumulating deductible and then restarting the first of the year. So if somebody has something that happens this fall and next spring, it could subject them to essentially 2 deductibles in a rolling 12 months, which is something that we want to try to avoid. I'll give you some more ideas on how we can do that later on. The other benefit and drawback, right now we have a $6,000 deductible. With Blue Cross Blue Shield under the Chamber Association, that deductible would need to go to $6,750, so the deductible does go up $750. However, the max out-of-pocket goes from $7,000 to $6,750. So your deductible and max out-of-pocket are the same. So those employees that hit that magical space between $6,000 and $7,000, they would be, potentially it would be worse for them. Anybody that is going to exceed that $6,750 in expenses, it's going to be slightly better for them. Not that $250 changes things a lot, but it is a little bit less money that they do have at risk on the table. The third option is an association health plan through a company called Triad. It's underwritten by SiriusPoint, which is a A- rated insurance carrier. It is administered by a independent third-party administrator called the Acuity Group, and they use TrueScripts as their PBM. I've been using Triad for 3 or 4 years now, have about 8 or 9 clients on it. It has worked extremely well. One of the things that I can speak to very clearly with Triad is there are customer service issues that we've had with Blackhawk. I do feel very confident that those would go away. we have one main contact at Triad, and so whenever we have an issue, I would tell you, on average, we're getting a response back within 24 hours. So I think customer service would be a great improvement. I think that same thing goes with Blue Cross Blue Shield. I do have the confidence in them that their customer service would better meet our expectations. One of the other benefits to the association plan is you're buying back into a pool, much like NACO was. So you're getting that buying power of a number of different companies that are all coming together to purchase health benefits. With that, over the last couple of years, our average increase has ran about 3.5%. That is not a guarantee. If we have extremely high claims, they do have to rate it higher. However, the rating that you guys did get, they rate it on a scale of 1 to 5. You guys did get a 1 rating, which is the absolute best that you can get. So assuming that we have just an average year, one of the goals with the association plan would be to continue to bring stability to the county. I know that you guys have a lot of budget pressures that may help alleviate long term. The other kind of the benefit to Triad is obviously some cost savings. Depending on which plan you guys would choose, anywhere between 10 and 15% reduction over the 24-25 plan year spend, which is $25,000 to $35,000, again, depending on which plan option you go. We do have two great options here. The one that would be most applicable to the policy that you have today would improve the deductible by $1,000, so it would go from $6,000 to $5,000. It would also improve the max out of pocket, going from $7,000 to $6,550. So really excited about that opportunity that we can save a pretty substantial chunk of change while improving the benefits for employees. One of the other highlights that I want to note is that we would be going from a First Health network, which is a regional network and has worked decently well for us, to a Cigna network. So you're going to get a little bit more name and reputation. You're going to have a higher, the further and further you get out of our region, the more exposure you're going to have to the Cigna network. So I think that's a positive change. The other option would yield a little bit less savings, again about $10,000 less savings, but that would allow us to move the deductible for employees down to $3,500, which I think from my feedback from employees is something that they would like to get. Is we'd like to see some lower deductibles and stuff. So I think this is an opportunity where we can potentially improve the plan design in a meaningful way, while continuing to actually come in under budget from where we were at last year. The biggest drawback we have with Triad is the same issue that we had with Blue Cross Blue Shield. So they absolutely will not do a plan year deductible for us. I have continued to request and just moved up the chain to see if we can get a deductible accumulator report. As of this meeting, I still have not gotten a response back as to whether they're going to be able to allow us to do that. If they will allow us to take that deductible accumulation from January 1st to the end of June, I think that would put them in an even stronger position as far as being able to earn the business, because then we would at least be minimizing the impact. Now, that impact would still be there for anybody that does have fresh claims, that has not had significant claims up to July 1st. But I will let you know as soon as I get that. I emailed them last night and said I really need an answer back. So I should have that hopefully yet today as to whether they're going to allow that. As far as my recommendation goes, I think that the thing that we really have to consider is that the employees have been absolutely fantastic to work with. Change is never easy. There has been a few frustrations that have cropped up from the changes we've made over the last couple of years, but by and large, the employees have really been receptive to trying new things and helping you guys as commissioners to be open-minded, to help us keep the budget in check. And so, I think the thing that we really have to look at is how can we continue to meet the goals and objectives of the county, but how can we, continue to take care of employees? So a couple of ideas that I had, if you were to use the Triad program and do the $5,000 deductible. What my recommendation would be is to take that savings, park that into an HRA strategy, and that way anybody that has claims in that period between July 1st and the end of the year, that we be able to supplement their out-of-pocket costs so that we lower their exposure for anybody that might fall into that. The risk there for you as a county is you might give up all savings. If we do have a rough second half of the year and we have a high number of claims, it could erode all of that savings for you. But on the other hand, it's making sure that we minimize the potential impact of the change to employees. One of the other things, just suggestions that I had put out there would be to maybe give up a little more of the savings, go to the $3,500 deductible plan. Again, that would help to lessen the burden if somebody does have some claims in the second half of this year. Still provides a savings for the county, but is giving up a little bit to give back to the employees. And then the third thing, I know there's, from talking with the employees, there's quite a few people that do the voluntary dental vision program that you guys have here. The issue with the voluntary program is that it's always a higher cost because they're battling a little bit of adverse selection. And so one of the other ideas would be to potentially put in a 100% employed dental vision and life program. Kind of working backwards, I think the life thing would be a really important thing. It's something I do encourage all of my clients to do. Today's day and age, it just continues to get more and more expensive. In the event that somebody passes prematurely, it's a really inexpensive way to just show a little bit more care for your employees. But the other side is talking with employees. A lot of them are spending around $150 a month for that dental and vision coverage. And so by doing that, you would free up approximately $150 a month for your families. And with talking with a few people about just kind of brainstorming ideas, they said that would be an interesting thing for us. We could then turn that, what is a tax efficient use of that $150 by purchasing that dental and vision policy. They could then reallocate that money into an HSA. So again, it would help to alleviate some of that change. Now, the thing I want to make clear is that once we get to December, that issue goes away. It's just needing to be conscientious of how it can impact employees over that next 6 months. So to kind of wrap up what I have for you today, a couple of big wins. Again, your employees have been awesome to work with, open-minded. Really have enjoyed that over the last couple of years and look forward to continuing to do that. One of the things that I did do was compare where are we at against NACO right now. And I think we're sitting in a really good position. Assuming acceptance of the $5,000 deductible plan through Triad, in comparison to what it would cost to be with NACO as of today, it's about $190,000 delta. And over the last 3 years, estimating about a $325,000 aggregated savings to the county. So I think we're doing, from a dollars and cents standpoint, I think we're doing very, very well. I think the looking forward is now, how can we continue to maintain the budget for the county, but look at ways to continue to improve the benefits for employees, and really continue to set you guys aside as an employer of choice, make you more competitive in the market space, to be able to attract and retain the right employees. Going forward, there's two things that I think I would encourage the county to look at. One is to have an audit done of your benefits program. We're more than happy. We've partnered with a law firm that specializes in employee benefits. They have partnered with us to provide a no-cost consultation. They'll get on an hour-long call with you, get to understand where it is. They'll provide you a report back with these are the different deficiencies that you have and the steps that you need to take. It'll also give you, hey, this is all the things you're doing right, keep doing these things. So I think that's an important thing to do as an employer, just to check your boxes. The other thing is, kind of already touched on this, is again just looking at ways that we can continue to improve the plan, maintain the cost. It is my opinion that the industry is continuing to go into a place where we're going to have to get more and more aggressive to help control costs. So continuing to have those conversations with employees about different options that are available, getting their feedback and really helping people get more comfortable with some of the different things that we can do to deliver a better benefit and bind those dollars and cents. So with that being said, want to answer any questions you guys have, and then I guess one last thing, be great. I know I'm putting a little bit, but we are coming up towards the end, and I apologize for that. We explored every rock that there was to turn over to make sure that you had the best opportunities on your desk. So we're a little later than I would have liked, so we would really need a move forward decision, ideally by tomorrow, but by the end of the week would be great. So
today.
Yeah, that'd be great, yeah.
Tell me about the $3,500 triad plan. Is this telehealth, and is that what this
No,
includes?
this,
No, okay.
Yeah, no, so I think what you're referencing, we did look at some
Yes, we
opportunities
did.
that would.
I just want to make sure that that's, if, I wanted to clarify if that was what this is or not.
Just to be transparent, I'm happy to send you the proposal for it. We did have an opportunity to move to a plan that would have allowed for $0 care, but it would have been all through telehealth. The issue being is that the lowest we could get the max out of pocket was $8,000. So if employees did not fall in that tier and they fell into the non-coordinated care, it potentially could open them up to more exposure. The second issue is with talking with employees, one of the really important things for them was to maintain HSA eligibility, which means that we can't do any first dollar benefits. Okay. So it came in very competitive. I believe it was about a 4% increase, but between the fact that it was potentially going to open up employees to a little bit more exposure and the fact that the overwhelming desire that I got from the employees was we really want to keep the HSA in place, I left that off because I didn't feel like it was a good movement forward. To answer your questions about Triad, it's going to look, feel, and smell exactly what you have today. The big difference
with better service.
I am very, very confident in the service. Over the last 3 years.
And if we did a $3,500 deductible.
Yes, sir.
And we're already funding an HSA for our employees, is it 4,000?
5,000.
5,000
for families.
For
2,500 for singles.
So would that be something we'd be looking at changing as a board? Would we go to the $3,500 funding, and then there'd be no gap, correct?
No, because you still have an out-of-pocket.
Still have an out-of-pocket.
You still have your max out-of-pocket that you have to reach.
Explain that.
So you're going to hit $3,500 in spend. So you're responsible up to $3,500. 100% of that is on you. Once you hit $3,500,
Is on the employee,
It's
or
on the employee.
they can use their HSA to cover that.
correct. They can use their
Okay.
HSA, but we're going to assume that the HSA is their money, because it is. And so they're liable for all expenses up to $3,500. Once they hit that $3,500 amount, it then goes to a co-insurance. So they're going to pay 20% of every bill that comes in until they exceed $6,550 out of pocket.
Okay.
So
Still less than the deductible we have now.
Way less.
So
Still less.
my again, I want to.
So the maximum amount of exposure that an employee would have onto this particular plan
correct
would be
$6,550.
$6,550 without the HSA?
So let's take the HSA off the table.
Okay.
Let's assume that we don't have any type of funding account. So yes, that would be the absolute worst case scenario for an employee is $6,550.
Okay.
Obviously 2 times for families. So you have you double that. So, but they're working towards their individual deductible. So I'll use you, sir, as an example. So if you have expenses, you breach $6,550 in total spending. Everything after that's going to be covered 100% for you. However, your wife and kids, it's not going to be covered for until they either individually or in aggregate have met another $6,550. Once the family unit has met the $6,550 2 times, and again, the second can be in aggregate, everything is covered at 100%. So for families, we're taking about $900 of risk off the table The deductible thing is nice, if we can get down to that 3,500, because quite frankly, hitting 6,550 is the worst case scenario, and we've had a few of those. But there's a lot of people that get to that $3,500 and maybe their total spend's gonna be 4,000. So it's putting them into that co-insurance a little bit earlier and lessening that impact a little bit. But at the end of the day, the number that really matters is your max out of pocket, because that's what worst case looks like.
Let's do the same breakdown onto the Blue Cross Blue Shield with the maximum, with the, so it'd be 6,750, and then it would be double that amount
For family.
for family.
Yes.
Okay.
And am I right, Nick, in saying that the HSA, they can use to pay that deductible?
Yes.
Like that's
Yep.
their savings to do
Yep,
doctor
so-
appointments, whatever, how they ever accrue their deductible, they can use that HSA money to do that.
Correct. And so, again, we're doing very well this year. We've got some options on the table where we can yield some nice savings.
And how does that compare to what we currently have? So what's the maximum out of pocket currently?
7,000.
7,000.
Yep.
So it'd be 14 for the family
14
unit.
for families. I would like to stand here and advocate for employees. I would highly recommend to leave the HSA fully funded where you guys are at today. The options that we're talking about are decreasing your costs. And so even if we can improve that deductible, you've already committed to the 5,000 for families, 2,500 for individuals. You're saving a little bit of money, so I would really encourage keeping those funding levels at the same. Again, your employees have been really great to work with, and change isn't easy. So I think this is a great opportunity to try to reward them and do that. And I'll be very transparent with them next time I talk with the employees. We have to continue to try to do new things. We have to continue to try to be good consumers so that we can continue to get these results, because I can't promise that next year it's a good, it's a fun conversation where we're talking about decreasing costs. There's always that chance that we're gonna have a rough year and costs are gonna go up, and we're gonna have to look at ways that we can tighten the belt. But this is one of those years that I think we've got a little bit of a win on our side. So I would really encourage not taking anything away from employees. And even, like I said, even considering giving up a little bit of that savings to find a way to continue to take care of them, because they've really been great.
And I agree with you, change is always hard. However, if we change this time, I don't feel it's gonna be as hard as when we changed from when we first came on and changed to you, Nick. You did great.
Well, I
But
appreciate.
it was a huge change.
I appreciate that, and I believe that the big thing is I've gained the confidence. Nobody knew me at that point in time, but working with a couple of people specifically pretty extensively, and then everybody in general, I hope that they have that confidence that we are going to have issues. I don't care what we do, unless something magical happens. There's always an issue that's going to come up throughout the year. I always try to get those addressed, and again, I come to you saying Blackhawk did well the first year. This last year has been rough, just as far as getting responses back to issues, and I think we can fix those whichever direction we go from here. So.
Can I ask you a couple of
Yes,
questions?
ma'am.
So with Active, pretty much everywhere we go, it's out of network. I'm dealing with this right now personally. No matter, it could be a continuing procedure, and I'll get the claim back and say that it's not covered. If the county decides to go with this triad, because Blue Cross Blue Shield is everywhere, but if we go with triad, are we gonna have that same issue where we get to the doctor's office and we're out of network? Are we gonna still deal with that? Because like our HSA then, instead of covering the deductible, is covering these medical costs that are out of network, and we're not getting cash pay, we're getting insurance pay. So the rates are higher. And I mean, I can name.
Cash pay is always lower.
Right, but since we turn in our insurance card to the doctor's office,
They want insurance.
they want insurance pay.
So
So is this gonna be a continuing thing with Triad?
So Active is an administrator. That's irrelevant. Triad is acuity. That's really irrelevant when it comes to a network standpoint. You guys are with the First Health Network right now. I know that there's been a couple of issues with that. I thought we had those addressed. So if there's ongoing issues with the out-of-network thing, then probably need to have a one-on-one conversation. But I'll tell you, I use First Health a lot with a lot of groups, and I've never had any real issues. I know that we've had a couple of challenges, and one-off challenges happen, but by and large, First Health is owned by Aetna. Aetna's the 4th largest insurance network in the nation. It's widely accepted from this region. I would tell you Nebraska, Colorado, and Wyoming. It's very, very well accepted. So occasionally we'll run into those one-off situations where there won't be. And again, I believed that we had gotten those challenges. So if there's more of those issues out there that I'm not aware of, then we need to address those one-on-one. But to answer your question, we would be going from First Health Network, which is a lesser-known regional network owned by Aetna, to Cigna, which is the 3rd largest network in the nation. So when I talk about name recognition, you're going to get a stronger name recognition with Cigna. So I would say that I can't promise it, but I think that the handful of issues that we've had will be even less with Cigna because of the name brand and the fact that, some like 60 million, 70 million Americans covered under a Cigna network, so very broad.
Okay, and then Ashley and I have been working on our billing with Aptive. If we switch, is that gonna just all go out, because they owe us a credit yet, and we're
No.
still fighting on that, so does that go away if we switch?
The credit will get handled.
Okay.
That's one of the customer service issues that why it's been pulling teeth to get that done, I don't know. But no, that will all get handled. We'll get that all tied up and then move into that. And I think the portal issue where you guys can go in and pull your own invoices will be fixed overnight because that's one of the things that they actually walk you through how to get that set up and everything else. So that pain point that we've had will be alleviated. So I think from that standpoint, good going forward.
One thing you had mentioned was doing an HRA with the savings difference. So if we went with the 3,500 plan and we put $25,000 in HRA savings, roughly, we could use that to reimburse the folks for the 6-month period of time in between. There would actually be enough savings there that maybe it would cover some of the medical needs. I don't know. How would that be administrated? How would we as a county administrate that HRA? How would you administer? Is that your responsibility? Would that be our responsibility? Would that be a percentage? Would we take a percentage of the bill and pay it, and then maybe pay it all back at the end of the 6-month period? How should we best administrate that HRA?
Great question. So I've talked to a couple of different administrators about that. One of the recommendations that I've made for a couple of years is to actually move from Concord to a different administrator. There's other administrators out there that one of the pain points is having to fax in medical bills to get reimbursed. Just being candid, that's about as old school as it gets. So there's a number of different administrators out there that we could put into place that would solve some of the issues that specifically one employee has had with the HRA. But I'll also tell you from a cost standpoint, it's a fairly minimal cost. You guys are spending $40 or something like that a month. But the cost of your administration today is probably 25% higher than the average. So you're gonna save a few dollars by moving it to a different administrator. I think we can do better. I've talked to a couple of different administrators how to do this. Again, one of the things employees don't want to lose is their HSA compatibility. So we have to put the exposure at a minimum of $3,300 to keep it compliant with IRS guidelines for the HSA. What my recommendation would be is to work from the top down. So let's take that 6,550, let's figure out the budget of the savings that we're going to reap, and figure out how much we can apply on the top end down, so that we make it a narrower corridor that employees potentially could get caught in. And the thing about that strategy is that it does not guarantee that those savings are going to be eroded. It's just we're earmarking these savings today. At the end of the year, if we've only used half those savings to help take care of employees, that all goes back into the regular fund. We take that risk off the table at the end of the year. It's just to try to bridge it and help employees.
So would the HRA start July 1st and run until January 1, and then it'd be
Correct.
done?
Correct, and then it'd be done because we'd be outside of that, and it'd be that
They're packing.
unintentional risk would be
Right,
taken off the
right.
table.
I'm gonna ask again, your confidence with Triad
Highly.
is a lot more, you have a higher confidence level than where we currently are with Blackhawk, because Blackhawk, with our administrative issues that we've had with them, with some of the prescription things, we will not have that issue. Can you?
I can't ever tell you there won't be an issue. What I can tell you is getting issues resolved. I have full confidence in getting those done in a manner which meets my expectations, which I believe are very high, and the expectations of your employees. Again, issues do happen. It doesn't matter where we're at or what
Understood.
we're doing. Issues do happen. I do have full confidence that we can alleviate the 3 weeks of unresponded emails. Typically, again, our direct account contact, if I send him a text message, I'm usually getting a response that day. And he's very good about, if he is going to be out of office or anything else, he has somebody else available to do that. So I would tell you, our average response time back from any inquiries we have is about 24 hours at most.
So I'm not grilling you on this.
Yeah,
but
no,
this is
no,
kind of
I-
the same conversation we had when we switched over to Blackhawk, that
Yep.
we would not have, that we shouldn't have some of these issues, and
The
we've
first
had more
year-
issues than what we anticipated. So
Yeah.
I'm not grilling you, but I'm just saying,
Please do.
any improvement we would have over where we currently are would be fantastic in my book. But we have had enough issues that it's obviously we're shopping plans.
Yeah, and if I had full confidence in it, 4.7 is pretty reasonable. I would tell you need to consider one of the other options, just because I don't care if you gave us a reasonable renewal, you haven't met our expectations in other areas, and they have not met my expectations. Just being transparent with you, you're the last group that's with them, and until they can demonstrate difference, I refuse to use them going forward, just because it's been a chronic issue. So
your recommendation today is what?
I would recommend going to the Triad plan.
Okay.
I would recommend giving up a little bit of the savings to go to that $3,500 deductible. That was a request that employees had. And furthermore, I'd recommend taking that savings and putting together an HRA strategy for the next 6 months to help, even if we lower that deductible, there's still some risk that's out there on the table for employees. So I would put something in place there. Your worst case scenario is you're going to be flat with where your spend was, 24 to 25. Best case scenario is we took care of employees, and we're going to have some additional savings after the 6-month period. That's my recommendation.
Okay.
Do any of you officials, employees that are here have questions for Nick on this change up in health insurance?
This Triad, I was told it was
Different.
and then I'm told it's not.
Different.
So what exactly are we looking at with Triad?
It's going to function, it's going to look, feel, and function just like what you have today. With, I think, improvement of the network, you're going to have better name recognition, you're going to have some lower costs out of pocket, but largely it's going to function just like what you have. You meet your deductible, your co-insurance, you go from there.
And the deductible or the cost out-of-pocket expense per employee would be what then?
The recommendation I just made would be a $3,500 deductible.
Yeah,
And then you go into current co-insurance, your worst case scenario for you would be $6,550. Your wife would be another $6,550 if you both had medical issues.
That's a copay?
Yes, co-insurance. Co-insurance. So you're paying a percentage of every bill that happens.
and
Who
who
was
was
that co-insurance with?
Same company. It's just, you pay, so if you get a bill from the doctor's office for $100, you pay $20, the insurance is gonna pay $80, until you have spent a total out-of-pocket of $6,550.
I thought it was 3,500.
Okay, when you're 100% until you get to 3,500. So every bill that happens, you're paying 100% of it until you hit $3,500. Once you've hit $3,500, you go to the doctor, they send you a $100 bill. You're responsible for 20. So now you're gonna be at $3,520. Insurance is gonna pay $80. And you're gonna continue to pay a percentage of that bill, of every bill that happens, until you personally have spent $6,550 out of pocket. So is that
65 per, the assigned person, and then the family is above and beyond that?
2 times? Yep,
Okay.
yep. Is that, are we good with that?
Yeah.
Personally, I like the sound of the $3,500 plan myself, just to lower the deductible a little bit. My opinion would just be to leave the HSA as it is. You set up a 6-month HRA to help offset some of the costs. Fine. Then we will be on a normal insurance year like most everybody else, and we won't end up, there's a chance where you can pay 2 deductibles in 1 calendar year on the plan we're on now. You know, you have something big, January, bam, you pay that deductible. Oops, we're gonna start again in August, we have something else, you're gonna pay another one. So if we go to a January, December plan year, that sounds good to me. But for my opinion, for what it's worth, that's what sounds good for me.
I appreciate your input. Do you have anything, Kathy?
I don't use it. I'm an old lady.
Sorry, I'm gonna play off that for a second. One thing to note is it doesn't matter which option we're on, we do have to finalize a census, so things could change a little bit. I don't anticipate anything. Mainly that there's one employee that will be going off the plan here at the end of the month, but I anticipate it being probably a benefit to us. And then we also had another employee that was terminated, but they would have been in the underwriting, and so they haven't pulled them out yet. So there's potential slight change, but I don't anticipate it to be anything big. So.
Do you have any more comments, Leif?
I don't. I'd like to hear from Katie.
Well, as the clerk, and not as for the billing part of it, the HRA part of it, if we do this to offset it, would we move like strictly away from First Concord for the other employees that are on there? And then just move it all into one, so there's only one HRA account instead of 2?
Yeah, so,
Because we pay $750 a person through First Concord. And then, whatever they submit, then we pay that too.
pay that reimbursement, yeah, correct. I would, if we weren't needing an HRA to bridge this gap the next 6 months, just like I did last year and I believe the year before, I would recommend changing administrators because I think there's administrators that can do better. So I would recommend that alone. But yes, when we bring the bridge strategy into place, it's all going to be managed through the same company, and it would be one account. So
okay, and then with a lower deductible, does that mean our HSA amount will change? Because if it does, that'll affect, because they, okay.
Unless I don't get to make that decision, my
Well-
recommendation would be to leave the HSA exactly how it is.
Because I'm under the, I was always under the understanding a higher deductible, you get more HSA, a lower deductible, you get less HSA, is what I've always been told. I don't know if that's true.
So the IRS requires, as of today, they require a minimum deductible of $1,600 for an employee only and $3,300 for a family. So we have to stay above that $3,300 threshold to make you eligible for an HSA. Once you're eligible for an HSA, everybody gets the same contribution amount. And forgive me for not remembering it off the top of my head, it's right around $4,150, I want to say for an individual, $8,300 for a family. So it doesn't, as long as you meet the minimum deductible threshold, which we will still easily do, you are eligible for an HSA. It doesn't impact that. And again, my recommendation to the commissioners is that leave the HSA funding at the levels that you've had it at, so.
And then, like vision and dental, those are through this triad, or possible through this triad, or was that through Blue Cross Blue Shield?
That was just a standalone, that was just an idea of a way that giving back some of the savings.
Okay, I misunderstood
Yep,
that
nope,
part.
you're fine.
On the HSA, Nick, on when, is that pre-taxed money or post-taxed money?
It's pre-tax.
Pre-taxed money.
Yep.
So each amount should be an even amount every month.
$416 for employee family.
416.67.
Thanks, Katie.
Yep. It's 280 something for individual. I don't quite remember that one.
280 something ish.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Comments?
Not for me, I think I'm good.
I make a motion to change our county health insurance to the Triad 3500 plan that Nick proposed with Next Gen.
Can I add to that?
It's a motion on the floor, so either it fails as a second or you can amend it.
Can I amend that?
I'll second it, then you can amend it.
Cannot.
You can't.
I can't second. Oh, okay, never mind.
I think he belongs to you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can I amend it, that motion?
How about, let's do this. I'll withdraw my motion and then just go ahead and make a motion like.
Okay, I'd make a motion to go to the 3,500 Triad, but that we set up a $25,000 HRA in addition to cover the gap from the 1st of July to, so I like the 3,500 as well, but I think that to take care of our people, it's the same cost to us where we've been. It's the exact same dollars, but it should take better care of our people that way.
That's your motion?
That's my motion.
I will second that. Any further discussion? It's been moved and seconded to change our health care provider for our people to Triad with a $3,500 deductible, creating an HRA with $25,000 to alleviate the cost. Did I get that right?
Perfect. And I will be sending you some documents for signature, and then probably need to get one of you on a call with the administrator for the HRA just to get that, figure out exactly how you want to deploy that cash, and make sure that it's achieving all your objectives. But yeah, we'll have that all by tomorrow morning. So.
That will have to be Labor Eye.
Okay, sounds good.
You're good.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Sorry. All right, thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Roll call vote, please.
Don?
Abstain.
Robin?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate all your work you do for us. Resolution 2511, stop sign, stop ahead grant, road department. I think this is just a pretty standard resolution. Do you want me to read it?
Go ahead.
This is 2511, Katie, is that right?
Yep.
So resolution 2511, certificate of completion, statewide upgrading existing stop sign locations of rural roads. Whereas Banner County and state entered into an agreement statewide upgrading existing stop sign locations of rural roads, program agreement for installation of stop and/or stop ahead sign devices on county roads, the project. Agreement number BL 2395 executed on September 19, 2023, and the purchase and installation of stop and stop ahead sign devices. The project purchased the signs and it is the responsibility of the county to install all devices. Whereas Banner County Highway Superintendent has informed the board that the project has been completed by the county in accordance with the terms of the program agreement. Whereas the program agreement requires that the county board certify to state that the project has been properly completed, be it resolved by the board of Banner County, number one, installation of stop and stop ahead signing has been completed by the county in accordance with the terms of the program agreement. County Board Chair is hereby authorized to sign the attached certificate of completion between the Nebraska Department of Transportation and the county. Nebraska Department of Transportation project number HSIP-STWD 203. Nebraska Department of Transportation control number 01063. Nebraska Department of Transportation project description, statewide upgrading existing stop sign locations of rural roads. Adopted the 17th
Yes.
day of June 2025 at Harrisburg, Nebraska. I make a motion to accept Resolution 2511 as read.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept Resolution 2511 as read. Any further discussion? Thanks for your work on this, Eric, and thank Jay. I know he did a lot of this as well. It's been moved and seconded to accept Resolution 2511, authorizing chairperson to sign. Roll call vote.
Don?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Let me do this real quick before it gets filed in papers and Katie don't have what she needs. Who seconded that?
Lee?
Lee? Okay, set date for 1 and 6 hearing, road department. Do you have a date in mind, Eric?
No, we have to get the announcement out in the paper. Is there a time you guys want to try and get that done?
That's a Katie question. She'll have to have the time to get it out there.
Yep. I believe we have to have it posted for 3 weeks. So we're gonna post it, get it moving anyways. I'm sure it probably won't be adopted the first meeting,
The second meeting.
most likely. So, we'll get the ball rolling and get it in the paper and move forward.
Which date were you talking? Sorry,
Second meeting in July.
July 15th? That's our second meeting in July.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay.
What time do you want? You want just during the during the meeting that day?
Yeah, do you guys prefer, have you guys done it in the past during the meeting? Or have you guys had a separate one in the evenings prior? I would just
We
do,
always
we
just
normally
do it
just do it in the
during the
meeting.
Just do it during the meeting.
That's the way
Yeah.
we did it last year.
That's what we've always done,
Okay,
because it's still public. So,
throw me a time. Because Katie will have to schedule a time because it's a hearing.
Well, can we do it just like what we did today? Can we do it first thing and then
I'm gonna do 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock? Yeah, that'd be great.
You guys good with that?
Very good.
Okay.
So 1 and 6 year road hearing will be July 15th, 9:00 a.m. Good with that, Katie?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. Handbook, update and approval and resolution. You guys have anything on that?
Were you at the meeting? Dan? No, okay.
I'm guessing not, because I don't remember it.
What were the bulk of the improvements that Norman
Well,
suggested?
I was at training, so I wasn't there, but
Is Casey
Casey
here?
and Ashley were there.
She's coming.
Okay. Casey or Ashley, I should have said. We should have maybe done the appoint committee members before this and then those are just changes, additions, changes. Hello. We hit the handbook part.
All right. You guys have any questions?
And my question was, what were the bulk of improvements suggested by Norman? Was there a specific personnel,
Are you talking Pam Bourne?
safety?
From
Yeah,
our like most recent,
meeting with her, yeah.
um,
I mean, you don't necessarily have to be specific, I'm just curious what they talked about,
comp time,
okay?
Military leave, we wanted to clarify on that. It was more questions to make sure that we had it in here correctly, not so much that they gave us suggestions on how to do it, just more of like what we had to what.
like workers' compensation, the steps we need to follow.
Yeah. Military leave, what needs to be turned in on what matter, you know, what the guidelines is on that. Talked about like storage and things like that with personnel files, like how do they need to be separated? What's accessible at all times? What's accessible to just department heads? More of those questions is what we went over.
And you tried to incorporate those best you could, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was on the updated one that I sent you guys, the list too.
Yep. Did you get that one? It was in an email from Casey.
Yeah, so there was the first one with all of them, and then the second one with a few.
Did you get this one? It was an email from Casey.
I'm sure I got a copy of it someplace. Okay.
I'm good with it. Will you girls hang around for when we do this committee thing here in a minute?
Sure.
I think it's next, if I can find my agenda.
Yep.
I guess I do have a question too. So if we have a resolution for it, when is it effective? If you guys want to approve it today.
First, we'll have to read that into
Oh,
the
yeah.
record.
I've got a copy of my signature.
And, I know in the handbook it said effective date was January 3rd, I want to say, but I would say our effective date would be as soon as we approve this,
Right, agreed.
I think you have to
starting tomorrow.
I think you have to give 30 days to your employees.
Okay.
Oh,
Changes.
so
Do you want to pass?
So that's
30
gonna
days?
change. So that's gonna change.
what do you see?
And it said January 3rd on there because that was our last year's one. Yeah.
Right.
I'd go to July 31st or something that's easy to remember.
Sounds good. Effective date July 31st. We'll have to get this all out, all the changes to the employees,
Yeah.
basically new handbook, but
Yep, new handbook, and then they'll each have to sign that they've reviewed it and they've gotten their copy, and then we retain those.
so they
in the
will have
clerk's
until
office.
July 31st to sign off on that, to make sure we get those all back from the officials and the employees.
And we have sent one to everybody too, so they've also had a chance to read all the updates.
Perfect. Any more on this? I will make a motion to approve the Banner County Handbook as presented from our handbook committee. Effective date to be July 31st of 2025.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the handbook update and approval. We probably should read that resolution.
Right.
Do we need that separate, Mark, or
You can do it separate.
any further discussion? Effective date July 31st, 2025. Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Don,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
All right, resolution, do we have a number on it? Do one of you guys want to read? I'm sorry,
it would be 2512.
12? Do one of you guys want to read that?
I will. Whereas Banner County employees are directly responsible to an individual elected official and the Banner County Board, whereas elected officials in working with employees may develop different employment practices and policies than used by offices, and whereas practices and policies can result in disharmony among the body of Banner County employees, and whereas the existing Banner County Employee Handbook and personnel policies must be updated to reflect existing state and federal employment laws and modern employment practice. Therefore, the undersigned elected officials of Banner County do hereby adopt an employee handbook revised May 30th, 2025, which supersedes and replaces any previous personnel policies and practices. The employee handbook provides the employees' policies and practices common to all offices and departments of the undersigned. The employee handbook revised May 30th, 2025 shall have an effective date of July 31st, 2025, signed this 17th day of June 2025. Moved by Commissioner Darnell, seconded by Commissioner Anderson. Therefore, that the foregoing resolution be approved and adopted with a roll call vote.
Do I do it again?
I'm sorry?
Roll call vote again?
Do we have to do
That
it?
was a motion, so is there a second?
I thought you seconded.
This is the resolution, so it's separate to what we did
Okay.
just
Second.
2 seconds ago.
Oh,
So Don second. Moved by Leif Anderson. Second by Don Lees. It's been moved and seconded to accept resolution 2512 for the Banner County handbook. Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Don,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Okay. Appoint committee members and grievance and buildings and grounds.
Thank you.
Did you ladies come up with someone that from the employees?
Caleb.
I'm sorry?
Caleb?
Caleb?
Scott was the one that.
I don't want the big one. So on the grievance committee, we had Mark Knob, which is a lay member appointed by the commissioners. We have myself, Robin Darnell, as the Banner County Commissioner, and we have Mark Kavorik as the elected official, non-board member. We need a member chosen by the employees, and you said it was Caleb Scott?
Yep.
And we need a lay member by the elected officials. So someone not employed by the county or anything, appointed by Kathy, Casey, Katie, Zane, and us.
Mark is not.
Mark is the layperson the commissioners appointed. Mark Canone. Do we know anyone that might be interested in that? So we can add this person at a later date, maybe if some of the other officials can come up with some layperson that would be interested in doing this. We Appreciate it. How's that sound? And then we need a chairperson for the grievance committee. I was going to suggest Mark if he's interested, mainly because if we have a grievance, I feel like Mark should be the first person that's going to know about it. And as chairperson, he can take it from there.
Okay.
That's just my suggestion. I don't know what
I
you
agree
guys
with
think.
that. It's fine.
Mark, would you be good with that?
Sure.
Is that kind of how that flows? You should be one of the first to know about
I
it.
need to know at some point, sooner is always better than later.
Exactly. Yep. Okay. So I will make a motion to appoint Caleb Scott as the grievance committee member chosen by the employees, and Mark Kavorik, county attorney, as the grievance committee chairperson.
What's your motion?
That's my motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Caleb Scott as the grievance committee member chosen by the employees, and Mark Kavorik as the chairperson for the grievance committee. Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Who seconded that? Sorry.
Very good.
Blake?
I didn't remember.
Okay. Don?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Blake?
Yes.
And the safety committee. It was my understanding Carl wanted off of that because he felt he was not always around when the safety committee needed him. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So we need to reappoint someone in Carl's place to the safety committee.
So we have already appointed, we've already got some people. We've got Taylor Martinez, and Tim Grubbs is also going to be on there because
Well,
Jay
we
does.
appoint them. You
Okay,
guys can
so-
suggest them.
Well, would you please appoint Taylor, because she's asked if she could be on it. And then Tim Grubbs, we felt as we were talking, that would be better because we're gonna have to do shop inspections, and he's already at the shop, and I talked to J Dub, and he said he was fine if you appointed Tim also. And so,
So does Jay want to stay on or does he want off?
he wants off,
Jay wants off.
yeah.
And Tim, are you okay hopping on the safety committee? Okay, so we take Jay Dove off the safety committee and add Tim Grubbs and appoint Taylor Martinez?
Yes.
Wanted to call her Evans.
I know, me too.
Taylor Martinez. So I'll make a motion to appoint Tim Grubbs and Taylor Martinez to the safety committee, removing Jay Dove and Carl Gilbert.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Tim Grubbs and Taylor Martinez to the safety committee, removing Jay Dove and Carl Gilbert at their request. Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Don?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Blake?
Yes.
And you're the chair, the safety director for that, is that correct, Kathy?
Yes.
You're good with leaving that safe?
That's fine.
Okay. Should have asked you that before, but yeah. Buildings and grounds. We have Don Lees, Jim Milner, and Chelsea Mossberg. I'm not sure why I listed that. Did Chelsea want to stay on and Jim both?
I thought
I believe so.
I think so.
I think we're good with that then, aren't
they
we?
were so good.
It's pretty hard to catch up with Jim to meet, I can tell you that. As, you know, he's
You kind of hit this up, so.
an at-will employee who's here, I don't know how many hours a week we pay him, but not very many. He has to make a special effort to be here. It'd be nice if we had somebody that's either in the road department or the courthouse. fairly full-time.
Do you have someone in mind?
Ashley would be happy to do it, wouldn't you? No.
But you have a courthouse employee already in Chelsea. So I might
So you want
suggest
a road
like,
department?
well, I would like maybe a road or,
With her duties, she's kind of both courthouse and road.
true that,
Be nice.
true that.
Tim? Feel like another committee?
I can just change this page to your name only.
The only thing with leaving Jim on it is he works on the building, so he's already aware of what issues we might discuss or what could come up.
Buildings and grounds, that mostly affects courthouse.
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to think
You got
outside the
Chelsea for
courthouse is the problem.
Get Chelsea for road.
Things.
Now Chelsea is kind of a road department employee, even though she's based in the courthouse. So I would second your motion of putting Ashley on there.
Well, Holly Gilbert did offer to be on there.
Oh, did she?
Yes,
Yes.
Oh, it'd be fine.
so.
Are you on a, just being nosy, are you
Is
on
there
the committee? Ashley?
Anybody in the road
I'm on the
department that
handbook
might want to be
committee.
on that?
I just like to keep all of our people involved in whatever committee they want to be on. I like them all to,
Yeah, I like the handbook.
I'm sorry?
I like the handbook.
You're perfect there. That works.
Doing reading
How about Holly?
She offered,
She's
for
offered.
the building and
Okay,
grounds, yeah.
You
so
want to do,
that's fine.
you want to take Jim up, put Holly on?
I would,
I'll let
yeah.
you make the motion.
Yeah. So I move to appoint the Buildings and Grounds Committee as Don Lease, Chelsea Mossberg, and Holly
Gilbert.
Gilbert,
Jim?
And remove Jim or leave Jim?
and remove Jim. Three's enough.
Okay.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Holly Gilbert to the Buildings and Grounds Committee, so it'll consist of Don Lease, Holly Gilbert, Chelsea Mossberg, removing Jim Milner. Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Don,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Leif,
Yes.
Does that straighten our committees out for you ladies?
I think so.
A little bit. We just need that layperson for the grievance committee by the officials, so if you officials in the courthouse come up with someone, or if one of you guys come up with someone, let us know and we can appoint them next meeting. That grievance committee was kind of confusing because it's like 5 people and they gotta be all from certain areas.
Right.
Okay, so we good there, girls?
I think so.
How formal do we want the committees to be? Do you want us to take notes, have meetings, schedule meetings, take notes?
I don't think you have to take notes, but I think decisions that are made, things that involve safety, maybe your safety committee, buildings and grounds, your buildings and grounds committee, the grievance committee, of course, that'll all get involved anyway.
Are there
We got rid of the wellness, didn't we? Because that was kind of silly.
We do, yeah, the safety committee is required by NERMA to meet every quarter and take notes and submit them to NERMA as minutes. And so, we're gonna make sure that's done properly from now on.
I would just like to see all the committees as involved as we can be.
I agree.
Eric, was there any committee you would like to be involved with? We didn't ever ask you because you're kind of new.
Can I wait for just a little bit?
I'm sorry?
Can I wait just for a little bit?
You sure can, yeah. You kind of got a full plate, but yeah.
Yeah,
If you think of something you'd like to be involved in, let us know.
okay. Cassidy wants to be involved in a lot. But yeah, can we just wait for just a little bit?
Sure, yep, we can. I just wanted to offer it in
Yeah,
case there's
thank
something
you,
you're
though.
interested in. But yeah, don't I think involve the committees and stuff. I mean, I like us all to be
I see
big group in
now,
the county
but I'm hearing.
discussing and decisions.
I think that serves us best if we have more people to play.
Sure, what?
Did we
Two
vote
good
on that?
choices back there.
Did we vote, Katie?
Yeah.
I think we did.
Looking
Usually she'll
Just
yell from
checking.
back there.
nominated.
I didn't.
All right, set budget workshop dates in July. We probably need a couple of dates. These will be the workshops where we meet with the officials and their budgets and go over their this year I want to do a one-on-one with the officials and their budgets, just so we all get on the same page, we don't make mistakes like we did with Kathy last year, and
Okay.
keep that communication open. So I'm guessing 2 workshop dates. What do you guys think?
I agree with that. I'd like to have one early in the month and one mid-month.
Okay? You tell me when. We have a meeting July 1st and July 15th. Now, the budgets from the officials are not due to us until the 14th.
Yeah, okay.
Could we do the 15th and the 29th, just to stay on Tuesday?
You'll probably lose me on one of those.
We can,
Could be weird.
so I'm gonna just, come July 21st, 4 days a week, I will probably be living in Sutherland. Just throwing that out there. Large EMT class, I have to go down and take care of it. So I'll probably be there. I will be in that county more than Banner, but, I mean, I can come back for evening meetings. Those would work.
It's just a little drive.
Yeah.
I'll do it if I have to, I mean, it's,
Well, I like the earlier in July versus the tail end of July, but if we don't have
You
the
know-
reports till after the 14th, we better have it.
but, that being said, we can work on our part of that budget, and then the officials, like Kathy, Katie,
Okay.
Zane,
That works.
the road department, those.
We don't have to do it all on day one.
No,
Perfect,
We
well, let's
could
do that.
do-
Let's do the,
Why, if our budgets are due on the 14th, why couldn't we just bring them to you on the 14th and have a budget workshop on the 14th?
Good.
or the 15th after because I'm already tied up that day.
the 15th.
You know, I will already be here, so let's do that on the 15th.
I'm good with that, Don.
Can we have it, can we do July 1st and July 15th after our meeting?
Certainly could July 1st.
Yeah, because we would have everything but the officials' budgets, we can do our own. And if the officials can get them to us by the 1st, we can certainly do theirs,
We
but
can look at that as
like, I wanted to give
as
them
case
some time
basis,
after the end of the
absolutely.
year, because they got the numbers and,
Let's do July 1st and the 15th after the meeting. That's my take.
we can,
I cannot do it on the 1st, because I'll have a district court day in Kimball that day. I'm good on the 15th, that's not a problem, I'm just saying I can't schedule to do it on the 1st.
well, or Katie's idea, do it say the afternoon of the 14th and then the 15th. That knocks you out of knocks both you out of work for 2 days.
Potentially.
Hmm?
Potentially.
I am out that entire week, the
The-
14th through the 18th. I'm at active shooter training.
Could you get your budget to us by the 1st? And we can meet with you on the 1st?
Possibly.
I mean, we have time after the 14th as well.
Right,
You just won't have
Or I could do
accurate
it in the
numbers till like the
evenings
day
or-
before.
right. I mean, I can do it in the evenings that week, but I'm at an active shooter training all week.
All right, feedback.
So what time on the 1st?
After the meeting.
11 o'clock.
Yep.
We don't even have, can we do that as part of the meeting advertisement rather than have a separate?
You can do it the same advertisement,
We can just add it to our agenda,
Just
right,
add
Mark?
it.
but but at that point, it's not part of your regular meeting, it'll be, special meeting type workshop.
Okay. Should be
So
done.
we need to do it as a special meeting?
Well, it's not really something that you're gonna do during your regular meeting. So you need to conclude your regular meeting and then have a new meeting. Your notice can cover having your regular meeting. And then immediately after, there will be a budget workshop
Okay.
meeting.
Shoot for 11.
Special meeting 11, that's our
Pretty
first
workable.
meeting of the month because, so it's usually 11 noonish.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
Give me a time.
11.
Because we can always be later, we can't.
Can be earlier.
That way, if we set it for 11,
Yeah,
we won't have to sit around and look at each other for an hour.
I think we'd be good there.
Okay, budget workshop. Budget workshop, special meeting after the commissioner meeting, Tuesday, July 1st. And the second one, Do you want the 14th or 15th?
I'm good. I got an appointment already scheduled on the 15th at 2, so if we can be done by then, 15th's fine, otherwise 14th works better, whatever. That's up to
That'll
you.
probably be a big one, because we'll have all the officials in by that day.
I'll do whatever.
I have a emergency management, oh no, that's 7, never mind. I can do any day that week of the 14th, any day or evening, so whatever works for you guys.
I still prefer the 15th because I'm already here.
I don't think we'll be done by 2, is it? Kind of a personal question, Don, but could you go and come back if we're not done? That's kind of this is kind of a big thing I'd like to have us all 3 at. I just would, because we're gonna have the officials.
If we have to
budget by then.
move, I mean, if we have to move it, we do, but I mean, if we can do it in 3-4 hours, that's perfect.
And that should be a pretty short meeting. We have that one in your 15th should be a pretty short meeting. You want to set it for that day at
10:30.
10?
10.
You can go late, not really.
Okay.
Okay, so the second budget workshop will be July 15th,
So you have to leave by 2.
after the commissioner meeting,
Probably.
10 a.m.
Perfect.
approximately. 10 a.m. We will do the budget workshop as soon as we're done with the commissioner meeting, not before 10.
Sounds good.
That work?
Works for me.
Awesome, we're gonna get that knocked out before I go on vacay, right? Okay, guys, good with that? Did you, good with that, Katie?
Yep.
Okay. West Nile Virus Control, Panhandle Public Health. This is just where we pick if we want deep wipes or Cutters bug spray, brochures, mosquito dunks. We pick which one of these we want, right, to put out here.
I think we've done all of them in the past.
So. Are you with me?
Yep.
Just asking. How many, Katie, do you know? Max?
I know we've done, I think, I don't know about the wipes, I don't remember that one, but we always do the three cans, and then the dunks. I think we've done like six of those packages. I think is what is always sitting on my counter.
Yeah, it's like they bought about 6 of each.
25 brochures enough?
Yeah.
And how about wipes?
Yeah, they've been bringing those too.
I'm sorry?
Those are good too, those, they've been
Okay,
bringing
so 4
those.
boxes, get
Yeah.
the backs. So I make a motion that we get 4 boxes of off-deep wipes, 3 cans of Cutter bug spray, brochures, 25 brochures, and 6 mosquito dunks from Panhandle Public Health for the Banner County public to come and pick up and use.
Yep.
Is that a second? It's been moved and seconded to get 4 boxes of off-deep wipes, 3 cans of Cutter's bug spray, 25 brochures, and 6 mosquito dunks for the courthouse to distribute to Banner County public. Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Don?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Courthouse alarm security proposal, alarm security technicians, Michael Soundsleeper. Michael wasn't able to be here today. He was already scheduled another appointment. This came about, I'll explain a little bit how this bid came about. I had a taxpayer call me and ask why we didn't go local and contact Mike Soundsleeper at Alarm Security Technicians, and so I contacted Mike on a Friday talked with Kathy about grants, and Mike came out on that following Monday. Looked at the courthouse, spoke with Tim Grubbs, Taylor.
And Ashley.
He met with Tim at a later date. Who else was here? Somebody else.
I think Ashley went
I
with them
contacted
too.
Zane, but I don't think he was here.
Yeah, he came through, I didn't even know he was here until he walked through the office.
Oh, I called Chelsea and told her he was gonna be here at 2.
But
Very quick.
he showed up and he was gone within 15 minutes.
Okay, anyway. The proposal from Mike Soundsleeper out of Scotts Bluff was for $7,841.95, which was a third of what the other one was. So that's why I put it on here.
Don?
Nebraska Fire Safety is supposed to be sending us a bid.
Do we want to just table this until we get their bid? Okay. Motion to
Table
table until we get the last
Did you say
bid.
fire safety?
Yep.
We're gonna table this until, do we wanna put it at the next meeting or the next one? How long do you think?
As slow as they were initially, it could be a couple months, I don't know. He called and said they gave him a bid sheet, right?
Yeah, Andy? Did Andy call?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't give it to him, but somebody did.
Somebody gave him, you said he got a
Yeah.
copy of their bid.
Somebody did, and I don't know who did it.
From fire safety?
Yeah, Nebraska Fire
Yeah.
Safety.
Because I wasn't here. I was over in Lincoln when they did that, so
So
anyway.
somebody's got the bid, but we don't know who?
Well, it's Nebraska Fire and Safety, yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it would be good too, because they put the panic buttons in already, so,
Right.
Since they've already got them here, it'd be a good place to get a bid from them.
One of the problems I have is comparing apples to apples.
Exactly.
These
You don't want to
were,
be sure what you're buying.
Yeah.
these were compared apples to
They are
apples.
compared, they're comparable.
Yeah, Tim helped me went over this. You met with Michael, sounds
I
like.
met with Michael, but I could not make head or tail out of the Protec bid. It didn't have a breakdown on the hardware. So I had a hard time making out anything out of Protec, but I understood the other company, the Sound Sleepers company.
The Protex bid is a hardwired.
It is hardwired where the other is wireless. The other company is scalable, so if we wanted to say a perimeter security system, it can be scaled up as needed, which I assume Protec could as well.
Does Protex also charge a monthly fee for monitoring?
Mm-hmm, 200 and,
How much?
That's a semi-annual inspection.
Semi-annual, yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay.
It's $10 a month.
Okay,
It
gotcha.
doesn't matter who's phone.
I thought it was monthly, so.
who's on here?
I was not aware of this organization, honestly. I've asked a half a dozen people if they did it, and nobody else did it.
The alarm security technicians. They do Scottsbluff schools, they do Scottsbluff County, they do
The airport,
the
you
airport.
named a few different big accounts, but
He's big in Scottsbluff. Big companies in Scottsbluff.
Well,
Yeah.
So you guys want to wait on this? for
yes,
Fire safety?
until we get our net last bid.
Okay, so Katie, would you put this on the agenda again for August, no,
But we at least know what the budget is.
July 1st? And maybe list it as courthouse alarm security bids. That way that'll cover all 3 of them. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I would say if we don't have a bid from fire safety by July 1st, I'd like to get moving
I know what
forward
you
on this.
mean. Yeah, I know what
Can
you
I
mean.
make a comment? Not about this, this is about the insurance. I just got a text message from Nick Lease, and they are going to, let me read this. They're going to let us go plan year deductible, so potential double deductible will be null and void. County employees, county saves a guaranteed 10%. And employees get a lower deductible and out-of-pocket exposure. So I just received that from you, and I thought that was noteworthy for the meeting.
Good to know, thank you for sharing that.
So,
I think we'll be good there. All right, do you guys have anything more on that?
no.
And we're good with the next agenda. Katie?
Just claims.
So we move on to claims.
And at this point, I will dismiss myself, because I need to boogie.
Okay.
We should be able to knock this out in 15 minutes, shouldn't we? That's when I have to leave.
Same.
Have you looked at them, Leif? Did you
I
any
have no problems or questions.
problems or anything on those? So Chandra, it was good to see her from a distance.
Thank you. I looked at what she sent us, and no questions, no problem. Do I need to sign something before I leave?
Yes, you do, hold on.
Okay.
I looked at them.
Oh, you have?
Yep.
So it's all me?
It's all you.
All right, well, let's get it done, huh? Let me get organized here a little bit. Kathy, were you able to check anything on grants for those, the fire alarm system at all?
No, we actually had a safety meeting yesterday and discussed all this about the fire alarms and made a lot of, looked at, in my packet, I have information about getting the grants and stuff on that too. And so it lists on what you can apply for and everything. And so they've already covered it one time for part of it, so I'm sure that it would be something they would cover again.
Can that committee meet, the safety committee, would you guys be able to meet before the July 1st?
Yeah.
And kind of review the 3 bids and give us your recommendation?
Yeah.
That works? I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, as soon as we get, and I'll follow up with Andy over at the Nebraska Fire and Safety.
Yeah, if you would, get
And
your
see if
hands on
he-
that bid.
because
Can't find the resolution.
talked about it yesterday, and I don't remember who said they called him, and that he hadn't called back, and I can't remember if it was Ashley or Chelsea, I don't remember, somebody, I just don't remember.
Sounds good, yeah, that
Yeah,
safety committee could meet.
yeah, we met and had a, looked at different, types of grants that we have in mind to get some more stuff going, just
Okay.
safety related
And
stuff.
even maybe the buildings and grounds people, because it kind of must.
I think it'd be good to just all meet, get it all
There you
together.
go. Just have a big old meeting.
Yeah,
Yes,
it'd be better to work as a team instead of,
I wouldn't have a signed copy.
stupid thing, it's not each your phone and.
Mike didn't have any
I
questions on
just
these,
have.
did you, Don?
No.
Any issues or questions?
What I do on my stuff for my records is just the conforming. So that I
Which I don't need to pass
it
this.
actually happened.
I just thought it.
Oh, no, they're not, they're doing claims, I'm
I
sorry.
have it written.
I just thought about this, oh, they're gonna do claims. They don't do claims, they do claims.
Somewhere along that line.
You look like you have a question there, Sheriff.
I'm just waiting for the end of the meeting. And then I do, but it's a totally unmeeting related.
How's our pest control doing in the courthouse? Did we get control of pests with this company?
It's doing pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we have no more ants. And the bugs seem to die as they walk in the door, so.
Yeah, it's working good. He did put some bait stations out in the new building, just ward off evil spirits.
So what's the procedure to put the fire department outside the county budget, fire district? I know there's some thresholds, like you have to be over 40 cents in order to do it.
I'm not sure what your question is exactly.
Well, they have independent budget authority.
Right, they have their own budget authority, but that still factors into yours.
If you put them on, if they go outside and levy their own mill, they are not part of the cap or the budget restraint.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
I can look into that.
It was interesting because I'd never heard of that, and they talked about that at the NACO meeting, actually. I think that was at the budget part. I was not aware you could do that. Well, I think you have to be over 40 cents in the previous year, which we have consistently been. What it does is it gives us a little more room if we have to. And it gives them more authority because they can levy up to a dime if they're outside.
If you do that, there's probably a few other things you want to change to.
Well, it's a process we want to think through carefully. You know, we're all good this year because the CPI's fairly good, so. If we're gonna get in one of these, it's not.
Give me this pal to check me.
Thank you.
Right?
And what is it?
Go back and look at what the CPI was historically in August,
You know,
in September. Yeah.
Do they go on CPI or slice?
slice, technically.
Because slice right now, last I heard, was like 517.
Yeah.
It'll find its way to 2.3 or 2.7
That's why they're saying,
when it matters, and then it'll bounce.
that's why they're saying.
Is AT&T our
when you
cell
have the
phones?
bigger numbers,
Okay.
get the money,
Really?
because there's gonna be some lean
Cell
years when you
phones?
won't get the money.
Initially, I
One of
just thought
them,
like
yeah,
by
that's a
road
cell
race, have
phone,
you put
and then
red lights on.
Verizon is the tracker.
If I would read it right.
But
I'm
Well,
just
I-
interested to
the
know how their
next year that
services
counts
on that,
against
like
you,
if
so.
they have service on that
Yeah,
AT&T
you
cell
gotta,
phone,
anything you
county
Yeah, I know
Anything
that,
that go over
like
the
Zane and
comes off the
Caleb,
top next year.
they've been
Next year,
using that for
yeah.
a while.
But now
Yeah.
on the evaluations that they're
FirstNet.
sending out,
FirstNet for
you know, like
AT&T.
the
And if you
postcards,
go on that,
your
it's,
tax money is
since you're a
this
first
much.
responder, have
They're
you
going
heard
to
of
put a
that?
line, an extra line on those cards that says how much
Because I
public
think
safety
Zane
is
said he
taking.
had service all the way from
So it'd be
71
my
to
budget, and Mark's
Bridgeport,
budget.
You get
which
better
that's
service.
sketchy
They'll
in there.
have a blurb on there
My
that
cell
says how
phone
much is
with
going to us.
Verizon drops me all the
That may
time.
be good, Zane.
You also
just
get
simply
a
from the fact
special
that most people have no idea
line set aside
how
that's less,
expensive law enforcement is.
it doesn't have the regular community of people on there, the
Overall.
It's gonna get
regular,
more expensive.
not
I know.
emergency,
How
you
could it
know,
not?
related type
My card, when we bought.
people.
When I bought my car.
That's what I heard, and then if there's a
23.
emergency in the
35,000.
county, they send
I
up like
just looked the other day, the
that
same
gives
car's
AT&T
45,000.
first responders
Correct.
cell phone service.
It's my
Yeah.
car.
There's
That
less
time, because
traffic
there
on
is
it.
none on the ground.
It's just for you guys. Yep, it's just for
Right.
Are
you.
you ready?
I just went and saw them last week, that's how I know.
Almost done. Hold that thought.
Plus it's like $5 a month or something, I don't know, it's really cheap.
thinking about looking into it.
Or $50, whatever it was.
What's that?
Your first net,
Oh, it's 50-some dollars.
yep.
I have a lot of First Net accounts.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a gas bill, isn't it? That must have been the end of the school year and everything.
We got just a big load of diesel and everything was jumbled
Yeah.
and screwed up and it all just got straightened back out.
8,500
It's
gallons.
gonna happen.
They were trying to get the tank down, keep fresh fuel. I believe it was intentional.
Well, we had a bunch of West Coast fuel we had to get rid of to switch over to Pine Bluffs.
Okay, I'm good now, Dawn.
Motion to pay claims.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded to pay the claims as presented. Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Don,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Lee?
Are you good to Jim?
Yes, ma'am.
Banner County Board of Commissioners adjourn 10:54 a.m.
Wrong time, Robin.
What's that?
40, no, 8.
Oh, I took it off my.
Fix the clock. Thank you, Kathy.